The last three sessions we saw the childhood pastimes of Prabhupada. We saw how wonderful childhood was when it comes to childhood samskaras given by Gaur Mohan Prabhu and Rajani Mataji, the parents of Abhay Charan. And then later we saw his college days, how he was a freedom fighter. I mean, he got into the moment of freedom fighting and he was really resonating with all the lectures of Subhash Chandra Bose and Mahatma Gandhi. Then we saw his meeting with Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who shattered all his mood of freedom fighting. And then he triggered a very, very nice mood of preaching the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then after that, we saw that how he shifted to Allahabad, then how he opened the League of Devotees in Jhansi, and how he separated from his family. And then in the last session, we saw how Srimad Bhagavatam first canto, volume 1, volume 2, and volume 3 were printed. It's really painful to hear what all Śrīla Prabhupāda did to print those 3 volumes of first canto Srimad Bhagavatam. Very painful. And after getting these 3 volumes of first canto printed, Prabhupada felt he's ready to go to West. Then he approaches Sumati Morarji for the ticket, passport, visa, P-form, and the sponsorship, and finally the ticket. And everything was ready. And Mr. Bhattacharya, he came to drop Śrīla Prabhupada at Kolkata port. And there, Prabhupada was getting onto this ship, which I have displayed here. He was getting onto this ship, which is called as Jaladuta. Now Prabhupada is looking at the ship and is meditating that how to fulfill the mission of his spiritual master, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the order given by his spiritual master. And with that mood, he's climbing the stairs of the ship and he's going onto the ship. When he's walking, and all the people on the ship, there were few of them, all of them, they were looking at Śrīla Prabhupada because they never thought on a cargo ship, which is full of goods, just having a small passenger cabin, in that a 69-year-old sannyasi in saffron robe is going to travel with them. And Prabhupada was climbing the stairs with one suitcase in one hand and an umbrella in the other. And he was looking up and he was going up on this ship, which is displayed here. Now let's see what happened after this. The dream journey of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami began on 13th August, 9 a.m. from Kolkata port. On the ship were Captain Pandya and his wife, and there were other few crew members. So it is described that it was a cargo ship, so it's goods are there on the ship, and there was a small passenger cabin. So Prabhupada writes in his diary on the first day, 13th August, that I'm feeling very comfortable. The passenger cabin is comfortable, and a lot of arrangements have been made by Sumati Morarji, and I'm feeling good. So this is what he writes in his diary. So Prabhupada would write diary every day. So he wrote that in his diary on 13th of August. Then 14th of August, he makes an entry in the diary saying that I'm feeling seasickness because now they have crossed, they are in the waters now. And there, Prabhupada is feeling a lot of seasickness and vomiting and dizziness. And along with that, there were heavy rains also. Heavy rains and heavy winds were there. So Prabhupada couldn't take that. Because first time he's traveling on the big water body, which is the ocean, and he's not able to comprehend what is happening around. Everywhere water. In fact, it is described that his appetite also went down. But on 19th August, they reached Sri Lanka, Colombo. So they reached there. So the captain took him out on the in a car, and at that time Prabhupada felt good. It was out on the land again. And then after coming back, again they started. So 20th August was a very, very special day. 20th August was Janmashtami. So A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami celebrated Janmashtami on the ship. What all things he did? See, wherever devotees are there, some things are fixed. Kirtan is fixed, Prasad is fixed, and class is fixed. It doesn't matter where they are. In fact, it's described in Russia when devotees were put in jail. So they didn't have anything. They didn't have any paraphernalia. Nothing was there. But still, it is described it was Janmashtami And they were acting, they were celebrating by acting, and they were decorating the entire cell, the jail cell. And they were talking to each other, oh, I'm cooking this for Krishna, what are you cooking? And all those discussions are going on. And then a person is sitting, and he started giving class, and other people are singing, and they're enacting that they have got some mridanga and kartal and other things. And the cops who were seeing this, they were going crazy, what these people are doing. So basically the point is, wherever devotees are, they will create the temple atmosphere. It doesn't matter if it's a jail or it's a Jaladutta ship. And here is the pure devotee of Lord Krishna, the Senapati Bhakta of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You can imagine what atmosphere he might have created. So there, Prabhupada personally cooked for everyone. He personally cooked for everyone. He had taken the dry cereals, he had taken some potatoes, and also Sumati Muraji made sure that there were some vegetables and fruits on the ship. So he used all that, and then he cooked a very nice feast for everyone. And then he gave a class on Krishna Janmashtami to all the available crew members, and everyone enjoyed. Everyone enjoyed that class. And this way Janmashtami was celebrated. Next day, 21st of August, was even more special because it was Nandotsav, and it was actually the birthday of Śrīla Prabhupāda, and Śrīla Prabhupāda turned 70 on the ship. I was just meditating on this point that he could have celebrated. He could have celebrated Janmashtami. He could have celebrated his 70th appearance day or birthday in Vrindavan. But only for one cause, to spread this mission of Krishna consciousness, the message of Bhagavad Gita all over the world. This personality, in this ripe age of 69, who became 70 on the ship, he has started on a very, very, very deadly and dangerous journey on Jaladutta ship. This ship went towards Cochin, arrived at Cochin. And then after that, when they came to Cochin, so from the books which were there, the Srimad Bhagavatam from Bombay, they were shipped, and those were loaded when they came to Cochin. Now this was all the arrangements done by Sumati Muraji. She made it a point that everything is put. I was just thinking, how much mercy Sumati Muraji might have got assisting a preacher. Then from Cochin, the ship started towards the Red Sea. So this is 23rd August that the ship moved towards the Red Sea. Now the condition of Prabhupada got even more deteriorated. A lot. Seasickness increased, vomiting increased, dizziness increased. He was feeling a lot of weakness, and he was not feeling any appetite for taking any prasadam. And then along with that, something else also happened. Pain in the chest started, and with time it started increasing. And on that particular day, when the chest pain was really very great, he got a major heart attack. And the next day, when he was just recovering, he got another major heart attack. So you can imagine 2 major heart attacks back to back. What Prabhupada would have gone through. Yes. In fact, Prabhupada writes the diary. He says, if the third one would have come, I would have died. He writes that in the diary. When he got the second heart attack, and when he was unconscious, Prabhupada got a dream. Prabhupada writes this in his diary, Jaladutta diary. He says that when I was there on the boat, and Krishna and his various incarnations were rowing the boat. And Krishna was telling that don't worry, we are with you, just come. And Prabhupada says that I felt very good after getting such amazing darshan of the Lord. Yes. Just imagine 2 heart attacks. Oh, it's very difficult to understand also what he was going through. Because at the age of 70, getting all these problems is like very, very difficult. Like for us, if we do a little hard work here and there, physical work, we get tired and we need some rest. And this person is traveling from one place to another, then he boards the ship and it's very new for him. And then along with that, he has got these symptoms, health problems. And along with that, 2 heart attacks. Now you can imagine the situation of Prabhupada on the ship. Very, very dangerous situation. Very dangerous. But again, on 1st September, they entered Suez Canal. And they stopped at Port Said on 2nd September. Now the captain was very nice, Arun Pandya. Then when the city came, now again he took Śrīla Prabhupada and he visited the city. And Prabhupada says, I liked it. It was very nice. Very nice. So with time, he was obviously sick. But with time he was recovering, little by little by little. And 6th September he writes that he recovered from the illness, and for the first time in 2 weeks he ate properly. The first time in 2 weeks he ate properly. He himself cooked some khichdi and puris, and he had that. But then again, after 3 days, 9th September, when they entered Atlantic Ocean, the headache started, slight headache started, it seems. So there, Prabhupada writes in his diary, very, very touching, 10th September's entry. He says, I'm feeling a lot of separation from Vrindavan. I don't know what am I doing in this water, all side, everywhere water, and there in between, I'm feeling a lot of separation from Vrindavan. I'm feeling a lot of separation from my Govindji, my Gopinathji, my Radha Damodarji. Oh, where are they? And then he writes that I'm completely dependent on my Gurudev, His Divine Grace, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. It's only His mercy that I'm still surviving, and it's only His mercy that I'll be able to preach. Anyways, I'm in my 70s. What will I be able to do there? It's only His mercy, he's saying. Yes. But then he also makes a very important entry. He says, in all this turbulent situation, there is one solace, which I have. That is the nectarian Chaitanya Charitamrita, which he carried with him. If you remember, he carried a Bengali Chaitanya Charitamrita with him. So he's saying, in all this turbulence that is happening all around, the only thing that is giving me a lot of solace, a lot of peace is Chaitanya Charitamrita. Here at this place, I would like to make a very important point for all of us. So going out of the topic of Prabhupada Leela, see, when all of us will be getting to our old age, one thing is for sure. That we'll become lonely. With time, we'll become lonely. And to such an extent that people will not care for us around. Yes. At least in this age of Kali, be it our kids or be it relatives, be it friends or anyone for that matter. Because they themselves will have their own families to care for. Like you ask a question to yourself, how much time are we able to give to our parents? It's difficult because everyone has their own families to maintain. Right? It becomes difficult. So when a person becomes old, when he crosses say 55 or 60, 65 or 70, it's really difficult. The person goes through a lot of mental turmoil. So there's a lot of loneliness within the heart. There's a lot of loneliness, and in the head, in the mind, there's lots of thoughts running. This is called as crisis, which happens in the old age. And in this crisis, the person starts thinking, what did I do in my entire life? And then he sees the entire life is logged. He's logged for various people around, but those people are not taking care of me. This is what he says. And then when that crisis comes, now the person goes really into a deep thought process and sometimes into depression also. And you see, you take up maximum old people, they are very cranky. They're very, very chidchida. In Hindi, we call it as chidchida. For every small thing, they'll go crazy. Every small thing. And they want to give suggestions to people. They want to give advice to people. Because they feel they've got a lot of experience and they want to share. But now no one is coming and asking. So they'll catch people and they'll start saying, you should do this, you should do that. And then sometimes when the person is, throughout his life he has worked and suddenly has to sit at one place. That's very difficult, very difficult. And then the entire time he's managed the house and suddenly everything is taken away from him. All the responsibilities are gone. Now he's there alone without any responsibility. Not going to office, staying at home. There's nothing to do. So in this particular scenario, it's very, very difficult to sustain. Very, very difficult. And that is the point, when the previous samskaras comes into, picture. In fact, it is said that budhape mein jawani, lusty desires pop in even at the old age because of that loneliness which are there. And then you might have heard that old men, raping people, raping females and so on and so forth. Why all this happens? That because of the loneliness. So one thing we have to understand, we see Krishna, we don't see Krishna, we attain Krishna, we don't attain Krishna, but for sure we'll be attaining our old age. No one can stop that. No one. No old anti-aging creams can stop that, for sure. So one thing that we have to do is prepare every single day for that particular day, which is going to come very soon. For all of us. For some of us, it might be 40 years more, some of us 30 years more, some of us 20 years more, some of us 10, and some of us maybe 5 also. So we have to prepare for that. Because only when we prepare for that, we'll be able to relish those moments. The preparation is becoming more and more Krishna conscious. In fact, when we come to our old age, we should be like that sponge which is completely dipped in the nectar. So now when the sponge is removed from the nectar, say honey, so the drops of honey will be falling. So basically the point that I'm making is the person should be so dipped in Krishna consciousness. When the person comes to his old age, is completely filled with nectar. Completely filled with nectar of Krishna consciousness. Anyone who comes in touch with him, he also becomes Krishna conscious. That's how the stage of a person in the old age should be. And old age means what? So many bodily problems will be there. Now just imagine if a person is bedridden, he's always on the bed. How much frustrated the person will become. But if a person is Krishna conscious, even on the bed, what he will do? He'll keep chanting and he'll keep relishing. And suppose he has attained Krishna till that, he'll be taking darshan of Krishna. And he'll be relishing the leelas of Krishna. And he'll be speaking on the bed itself, he'll be speaking about Krishna, he'll be relishing. If no one comes to care for him, he'll be okay. No one comes to give him attention, he'll be okay. This is called as solace in turbulent situation. And all of us are going to go through that turbulent situation for sure. For sure. I just talked about the old age, but even now there'll be some turbulent situations in our life. But if everyday practice is there of taking shelter of Krishna by reading Shastra, by reading Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, by hearing lectures on day-to-day basis, by worshipping Krishna, by having prasadam and giving up all the sinful activities, then that particular shelter will save us, or else forget it. Nothing can save us. Nothing can save us. We'll get into a very, very bad turmoil, a bad situation where we'll not be able to balance ourselves. And many people are going through this. Many people. What to talk about old people? Even people who are there in their adulthood, say 35 to 40, even they are facing these problems. Yes, midlife crisis. So all this crisis will be taken care if every single day from now itself we practice bhakti very strongly. Always remember, all of us are going to become old for sure and we'll be invalid. Remember this term, invalid. We'll become invalid when we enter our old age. And no one would care for us at that time because we will be invalid. And at that time, even when we are invalid, still Krishna will take care of us. Yes. And Krishna can reciprocate us with us more if we have been Krishna conscious throughout our life, because we'll be drenched and will be completely submerged or will be drowning in the nectar of Krishna consciousness. That state should come. And that cannot come with a practice of 1 or 2 days. It's a practice of years together. So this is what we see in Prabhupada's life. When he has got 2 heart attacks and when he's going through so much of problem, he's there in the ship and all around is just water. And this person is saying that my only solace is the nectarian Chaitanya Chaitanya. This is the state where what all of us we have to reach. This is the particular state that we have to reach. And Prabhupada would come on the deck. He would stand and he would be watching the entire ocean all around. And then he would watch the sky, he would look at the sky. And then he would be thinking about Vrindavan. He would be thinking about Chaitanya Chaitamrita. And he would be meditating on the order of his Guru. How can I fulfill the order of my Guru? When they crossed the Atlantic, Captain made a statement saying, he never saw such a calm crossing of Atlantic Ocean. Means always the Atlantic would be turbulent, it seems. In his entire career, till that particular day, he made a statement that Atlantic would always be turbulent, always. But this time it has been really very calm. And Prabhupada writes that if Atlantic would have shown the usual face, I would have died. And he says, it's only Krishna's mercy. It's only Krishna's mercy that Atlantic was calm and I'm saved. And there Mrs. Pandya, the wife of Captain, she says to Prabhupada that while coming back, please come back with us so that we have the same Atlantic. So that the Atlantic remains calm. 13th September, after 32 days of travel on the ship. 32 days. Can you imagine 32 days on the ship? It's like a nightmare. 32 days on the ship and you're just seeing water and nothing else. Prabhupada wrote a Bengali poem on the ship. and he revealed his entire heart in that poem. Very, very beautiful poem, which he has written, where he talks about his relationship with his guru. And there he mentions that there's a nice lines where he's mentioning about his relationship with Krishna as a friend. And he's saying, I'm missing those days when we would go to herd the cows together. Prabhupada is writing that, in his song. So something like that. It's a very deep and very esoteric. We will not get into that. Yes. So 13th September, it was a 32nd day of travel. 17th September, morning 5:30, they reached Boston's Commonwealth Pier. They reached that particular place. And then Prabhupada went through the US immigration and customs. He went, did all that. Then his visa was stamped, and the expected date of his departure was put, because he just had 3 months of visa. And then when he was there at Boston, he wrote another poem called Markena Bhagavata Dharma. So that is also a very nice song. Sometime I will sing that. I will sing that sometime later. Yes. So now he has arrived in Boston. Now, just imagine, for the first time, an Indian is going to West. Now you might have heard, many people going to West, US, London, wherever. And how they describe. One of my few students have gone, and out of that, they describe, oh, it's a heaven, Prabhuji, it's a heaven here. It's so beautiful everywhere. It's so beautiful and so nice and goody, whatever. Yes. And you know what Prabhupada was thinking? Prabhupada says, this is hellish city life. Every person here is illusioned of material happiness. Everyone is illusioned. Everyone is just going through their life, and they don't know what is the goal of life. They're just living animalistic life. This is what Prabhupada writes in his diary. I'm feeling miserable here away from Vrindavan, he says. This is pure devotee's vision. He is not allured by material things of this world. He was seeing that particular place to be hell. All that place which is glorified by people around. When Indians go there for the first time, Indians glorify like anything. But this Indian who has gone is not a normal Indian. He's a pure devotee. And he's saying that it's a hellish place. Nothing else is there. Now let's try to understand Prabhupada's condition. He has come to Boston, but let's analyze Prabhupada's condition till now. Material setbacks. He started a League of Devotees that failed. And then his business failed. He separated from his family. So many things he went through. No support back in India. No support now in New York also. Boston or New York. There's no support there. And it's not that there's a big setup ready to receive Śrīla Prabhupada. Nothing is there. No money. In fact, I forgot to tell you all, when Prabhupada climbed the stairs of Jaladuta, he had a trunk, he had an umbrella. Along with that, the money that he had was just rupees 40. With 40 rupees, he boarded Jaladuta. And now on the other side, where he's going, the crowd is horrible. It's not like our Gita course crowd like you all. Yes, you people are so humble and so, you sit so peacefully and so eager to listen about Krishna. But here the crowd is horrible. Crowd is horrible. Yes. They are meat eaters and drunkards and woman monglers and gamblers. And what is Prabhupada going to preach there? No meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and no gambling. This is what he's going to preach to those people. Yes. He doesn't have any plan how to preach also. He does not know the crowd at all. Entire crowd is foreign for him. He doesn't know if his language will be understood by them and their language he can understand. I mean the accent. Yes. And along with that, the cream was the 2 heart attacks which he actually went through. Can you imagine what was the situation of Prabhupada? Completely helpless situation. Completely helpless. Now he does not know what to do there. Only thing that he knows is that I have to spread this mission of Krishna consciousness for the welfare of everyone as a service to my spiritual master and Krishna. Only this thing is ringing in his mind and nothing else. But one thing is very clear. Prabhupada had intense faith in the holy name. Intense faith in the holy name and intense faith in Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada writes in one of the entries in his diary, he says that I am tiny, puny, I am tiny, insignificant, but God is infinite. I cannot do anything, but He can do everything. This is called humility. The difference between depression and humility is this. A person who is into depression, he feels that he's very tiny, he's small, he's good for nothing. And no, he doesn't see any support. But a person who is humble, he sees that he's good for nothing, but God is good for everything. And he can do everything. That is called as humility. And Prabhupada was really very humble. Really very humble. 19th September, then from Boston, Jaladuta sailed into New York Harbor. And it docked at Brooklyn Pier, the 17th Street. Now Prabhupada is seeing the Manhattan skyline. He's seeing the Statue of Liberty. And the millions of visitors that he's seeing there. But before getting down the ship, Prabhupada did a very nice thing. Prabhupada sold his Bhagavatam set to Captain Pandya and his wife. He convinced them to take Srimad Bhagavatam set. Now he had $20 with him. So 40 rupees plus $20. And with that, he's getting down from the same ship which he got in at Kolkata port. He's getting down from that place, from that ship. And how was his attire? He was wearing saffron robes. And in future, we'll see that when newspaper articles are written on Śrīla Prabhupada, so there they have written that this personality, the Indian Swami, is in saffron robes and is wearing bathroom footwear, something like that. So Prabhupada had pointed white colored footwear, it seems. So he was wearing that. Then he had an umbrella in one hand and a suitcase, a briefcase in the other hand. And then he got down there. And all the people around were unlike Śrīla Prabhupada. Everyone were there in Western dress. And here Prabhupada is there in absolute Indian attire, complete Indian attire. In his dhoti kurta and in his shawl and he, a typical footwear, having an umbrella in the hand, a suitcase in other. Now Prabhupada writes in the diary, when I got down, I did not know whether to turn right or whether to turn left. I was not understanding what to do. And then he writes that, I entered and I did the dockside formalities, whatever formalities supposed to be done. Then there was a traveler. There's a traveler aid person who was sent by Gopal Agarwal. If you all remember who was Gopal Agarwal, who signed the sponsorship papers for Prabhupada. He was Gopal Agarwal. So he had sent a traveler aid person. And then the traveler aid person, he took Prabhupada to Sky India ticket office. Sky India is the company which takes care of the ship. And one of them was Jaladuta. And he took him there and then Prabhupada booked his return ticket. And then he was taken to the bus terminal and his trip to Butler, Pennsylvania was arranged, where the house of Gopal Agarwal was there. Butler, Pennsylvania. Now let's understand. Now Prabhupada has already boarded the bus and he started. So Prabhupada is looking around and he's seeing big, huge buildings. Huge towers are there. And there's so many vehicles with so much of speed. They're driving, they're going around. And there are people who are just enjoying. And Prabhupada is seeing all this and he's becoming even more sad that what are these people doing? This is called as compassion of a great devotee. He was very, very compassionate looking at all this. And he was praying to Krishna that, oh Krishna, please deliver all of them. How will these people get delivered without your mercy? They are all in ignorance. Krishna, they are all in ignorance. Please deliver them. This was the mood of Śrīla Prabhupada when he was looking out of the bus. Just imagine if we would have been in his place for the first time. We are going, we would have, hey, look this. But Prabhupada, he's feeling sad looking at all this. This is on one side. Prabhupada started from this Manhattan and he's going towards Butler, Pennsylvania. Now let's understand what's happening in Butler, Pennsylvania, Gopal Agarwal's house. Now Gopal Agarwal had signed the sponsorship for many, many sadhus in the past. Because his father would always help sadhus to come to West. But then no sadhu came actually. No sadhu came. But one day, this Gopal Agarwal's house, there was a letter that was received with a photo. And that photo was the photo of Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami's photo. And the letter was personally written by Bhaktivedanta Swami. And there Prabhupada writes that I'll be coming at so-and-so date. And that was seen by Gopal Agarwal's wife. Now Gopal Agarwal is Indian, but he married to a foreign lady. So her name was Sally. So Sally Agarwal. So Sally Agarwal saw the letter and he was shocked. And she calls, honey, come fast. Please sit, I want to tell you something. Look at this. This personality is coming. And they were all shocked. They were not prepared. Yes. And now we see 20th September, morning 4 a.m. Prabhupada knocks the door of Gopal's house. Now you can imagine the situation there. Now what would have happened? They were not at all interested to host the Swamiji. Only because Gopal Agarwal's father had told that, help this sadhu, they were doing something. But they were not at all interested to host the Swami who was going to come. But now anyways he has come, what to do? So they received him. And then the house was very small. And it was very difficult to get adjusted there. So his accommodation was arranged at a different place called YMCA. So there his accommodation was arranged. So what Prabhupada would do is he would stay there at nights, and then in the daytime he would spend the entire day in the house of Gopal Agarwal. Now when Prabhupada came the first day, Sally Agarwal was panicking like anything. She was thinking, now what will I answer all my neighbors and my friends? If they ask who is this person, what will I answer? So what she did was, immediately she took Prabhupada to a newspaper, office. And that newspaper's office was named, that newspaper was Butler Eagle. That was the name of the newspaper. And the office of Butler Eagle they went. And there she requested them, please write an article on this person. Now the entire plan of Sally Agarwal was that if suppose his photo is put and an article is written about him, everyone will get to know that someone like this has come and no one will ask me a question. I'll be saved. This was what she was thinking. So 20th September Prabhupada arrived. 22nd September morning, Butler Eagle newspaper talked about Prabhupada. And there the headline said, Ambassador of Bhakti Yoga. See how Krishna arranges, right? This is Krishna's plan. This is Krishna's plan. Now with time, Prabhupada got settled in that place and they got settled with Prabhupada, and is described Prabhupada's behavior in the house. Now hear this carefully. Now Prabhupada is an alien person there and they are alien to Śrīla Prabhupada. They are strangers for each other. But still, Prabhupada was very, very friendly. Sally Agarwal, she says in an interview that he was very, very friendly. And how much friendly, he would be very humorous talking to people around. Whoever would come to the house of Sally Agarwal, Gopal Agarwal, he would be very, very friendly. He will talk to them very nicely. And the best thing that he would do is he will remember the name of that person. And next time when the person comes, he would address the person with his name. And the person would feel very nice. Like this, Prabhupada would come out, even in the neighborhood of the Agarwal family's house. And he would talk to people. And, he would wave his hand when someone is going in the car. Whom he has talked to. So like this was very, very, very friendly. So Sally Agarwal, she says that he was the most easiest guest to handle. And the reason also she gives, because whenever I'd be doing some work, he would be chanting. When I'd be taking care of my kids, he would be chanting. When I'll be cleaning, he would be chanting. When I'd be taking care of laundry, he would be chanting. He was very, very easy to handle. He did not need my attention. And I could see that he's chanting and he's happy. So I felt very, very nice. This is what she says. This is what she says. And every afternoon, Prabhupada would cook lunch. Now it is described that in the fridge, there was non-veg also kept. And then Prabhupada would open that. And, Sally would feel very, very bad because she was knowing he's a vegetarian. But, and Prabhupada would say, never mind, it's okay, it's okay. And then Prabhupada would remove very carefully the vegetarian stuff, and then he would go for cooking. So there it is described that Prabhupada, with his own hands, every single day for the time he stayed there, every afternoon he would cook lunch for the entire family. Gopal Agarwal, Sally Agarwal, and the two kids. And there, the description comes that everyone was really very happy to have that lunch together. And they became so close to Prabhupada, so close, that they were not ready to live without him. That was the mood now. And Prabhupada was also very comfortable with this family. So Sally Agarwal started treating Prabhupada's father as her father-in-law. And they had a very, very tight bonding with each other now. It is described that this personality, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, at the age of 70, was cooking. At the same time, he used to wash his own clothes also. He would wash his clothes, put it for drying. Every single day he was doing that. So the younger son of Gopal Agarwal, his name was Braj. He was 7 months old. And for the first time, he stood in front of Śrīla Prabhupada. He was scrolling and he stood up for the first time. Prabhupada was very happy. Prabhupada started clapping. He went there, he took him up. And there Sally Agarwal says it was celebration in the house. Celebration in the house. And the elder one was a daughter. Elder means, she was just going to some kindergarten or something. So for the first time, she learned about Jesus in the kindergarten. In that Sunday school, she learned about Jesus. And then she comes back home and then she looks at Prabhupada and she says, Swami Jesus, Swami Jesus, Swami Jesus. And from that day onwards, she started calling Prabhupada Swami Jesus. So this was there. So there was a nice family atmosphere. Everything was settled. And then Prabhupada started giving sessions around, one-time sessions to the community groups, the Lions Club, which was there. Some college was there. He gave sessions there. And the guests who would come home to Gopal Agarwal's house, there also he would give sessions. There Prabhupada got one confidence, that people were receptive and they were able to understand what he's speaking. So Prabhupada got some confidence when he started speaking. Now after this, Prabhupada was thinking, see, one-time sessions are of no use. I need a place where I have to preach. I have to set up an entire international movement. How can I do that? Sitting here, giving one-to-one session. Now just see, everything was settled in the place. Prabhupada could have stayed there for 3 months and then gone back to India. But Prabhupada decided after 1 month to leave that place, to leave Butler, Pennsylvania, Gopal Agarwal's house. He planned to leave. And he wanted to go to New York. Now, when he said this to Gopal and Sally, they were not able to believe that this person who has become so close to us is going to leave us now. They tried convincing him, but Prabhupada was very staunch and very determined with his goal that I'm here to preach the message of Krishna and I have to do something. So Prabhupada said, I'll go to Philadelphia. There was one professor called Dr. Norman Brown at the University of Pennsylvania. He was a Sanskrit Sanskrit professor or something. Prabhupada wanted to meet him. And then if nothing works there, he wanted to go to New York after that. So when Prabhupada declared this, everyone in the house was very sad because everyone was very attached to him. So before he was leaving, Gopal Agarwal gave him some coins in a sock. And then he taught Śrīla Prabhupada how to put coins in the slot at the bus station to take bath. Because Prabhupada would take bath multiple times, right? So he taught him that how to put the coin in that slot and at the bus station how to take bath. And then he taught him what to eat and what not to eat. So he was telling all these things. And finally, with a very heavy heart, Gopal Agarwal dropped Śrīla Prabhupada at Pittsburgh bus station. And from there, Prabhupada took a bus to Philadelphia, to New York via Philadelphia. So he left at 2 a.m. in the morning on 18th of October. Now things didn't work in Philadelphia. So he started for New York. Now see, in New York, he does not know anyone. Okay, he does not know anyone. The only thing is he had one contact in New York, which he had got from his friend in Bombay. So now you can imagine his friend's friend. So you can imagine how far distant relation this is. And he has never talked to him. He just wrote a letter from Butler that, I'm planning to come. And then, it is said that after that, he also phoned him and he talked with him saying, I want to come here. And that personality's name was Dr. Ramamurthy Mishra. He was a yoga teacher. So he said, okay, no problem, please come. Please come. And then he went there. So at Port Authority bus terminal, he got down. Now again, Prabhupada does not know where to go. So Dr. Mishra had sent a student of his own and he received Śrīla Prabhupada. And from there, from the bus terminal, Prabhupada was taken directly to an Indian festival that was currently going on there. So they were taken there and Prabhupada was seeing, the Indian festival that is going on. And there he was introduced to Dr. Mishra, Dr. Ramamurthy Mishra. And then Dr. Ramamurthy Mishra took him to his house. And his house was on 14th floor in 33 Riverside Drive. That is the name of the place. That was besides a river called Hudson. Now, on this 14th floor, Prabhupada describes that the windows were really big and the air was very nice. This was the description that Prabhupada gives. Now, Prabhupada is 70, but Dr. Ramamurthy Mishra is 44. something around 44. And Ramamurthy Mishra was a very, very modern sort of person. He was wearing Nehru jacket, white slacks, and his gestures and everything was very, very jazzy and flashy. And in that way, he would talk to Prabhupada in a nice accent of West. And he was a very, very trendy teacher of yoga. And people would call him a trendy guru or something like that. Yes. And at that time, this Dr. Ramamurthy Mishra was very sick, actually. Very sick. His health was going down. And for your information, Dr. Ramamurthy Mishra was a Mayavadi. Now you can imagine how much Prabhupada chastises Mayavadis in his class. Mayavadi means the impersonalist. So Dr. Ramamurthy Mishra is a Mayavadi and he is going to host Śrīla Prabhupada. But still, when it comes to philosophy, Prabhupada was heavy. He would fight with him. But when it comes to taking care of him, Prabhupada was really very motherly. So Dr. Ramamurthy Mishra, he says in one of the interviews that Prabhupada cured his health. And only because of Prabhupada I could recover. Only because Swamiji I could recover. And the thing that recovered me was his food. And that was not just food, that was Krishna Prasadam, he says. And the love and devotion with which he was serving Krishna. And the same affection and love he was showing towards Dr. Ramamurthy Mishra. This is the heart of a pure devotee. This is the heart of a pure devotee. Yes. He doesn't see who the person is. He just wants to serve. Yes. And wherever he is, he would like to serve Krishna. But then, after a few weeks, when this Dr. Ramamurthy Mishra, he recovered, he started finding Śrīla Prabhupada to be an obstacle, inconvenience to him. So he decided to shift him to his studio, the Hatha Yoga studio. This studio was there on the 5th floor. The number was 501, and the street was 100 West 72nd Street, near the Central Park. Now, this is what is the description given. And there was a small room in that Hatha Yoga studio, but that room didn't have any windows, and that room was okay, not very comfortable. And that room was given to Śrīla Prabhupada. So he started staying there. So Prabhupada would come to the studio and he would see what this person is speaking. And he would speak Mayavad completely. That everything is Brahman. We are God. And only thing is, when the illusion is removed, we'll merge. We'll understand that we are God and we'll merge with the Brahman. And things like that. He'll go on speaking. And once Prabhupada got an opportunity to speak, so Ramamurthy Mishra, he was not knowing who Prabhupada was, what he would speak. He gave opportunity to him. And Prabhupada came on the stage and he started speaking Krishna consciousness. Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead. We are all individual souls and we are all his servants. And Ramamurthy Mishra is getting panicked. Arre Babru, what is he speaking? This is not what I teach my students. After that, he never allowed Prabhupada to speak. Only thing that he would allow Prabhupada to do is that after he would give class, he would call, Swamiji, please come. Can you do some kirtan? Only for that he would call. So what Prabhupada would be doing is he would be sitting at the back. And when the class would be going on, at that time, Prabhupada would preach to the backbenchers, saying that whatever he's saying is false. You listen to me, what I'm saying. This is what he would be saying. So in this way, we see, he spent some time in Dr. Mishra's place. They'd fight a lot with each other when it comes to philosophy. But again, they would come together. This is called as our Vedic culture. We might have difference in philosophy, but when it comes to staying as humans, there's a lot of love and affection. This is what our Vedic culture teaches us. Right? So in this way we see, this is what we saw in Prabhupada's case also. So sometimes Prabhupada would go out and have a walk around in Manhattan. And there he met one subway conductor. His name was Mr. Rubin. So Prabhupada would be sitting on one of the chair in the park. And then once Mr. Rubin, he approached him. And then he started talking because Prabhupada was in his attire of sannyasi, and anyone would get attracted to that saffron clothes. So he went there and he started talking. Mr. Rubin started talking to him. And then he asked, who are you? And where have you come from? And Prabhupada started saying that I'm A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. I've got many temples. I've got many books. I've got many disciples. Only time is separating. Then Mr. Rubin speaks in one of the interviews. He says that he was a lonely person, but he was speaking really very high thing. So in this way we see that Prabhupada was really confident that he will be able to establish the mission. Very, very confident. And what was the thing that was giving him confidence? The words of his Guru and the words of Srimad Bhagavatam and Krishna himself in the form of his holy name. This is the faith that a devotee should develop in his life. And we see this in the life of Śrīla Prabhupada. Now we have, we read some Bhagavatam and we have gone through some Bhagavad Gita classes also. All that we can see coming live. And that too in a contemporary person, a contemporary Acharya. We're seeing all that thing coming live here. Once there was a complete blackout. This was in November 9, 6 p.m. onwards, there was a blackout, it seems. And Prabhupada saw, and then he started thinking, in India, power cuts are okay, but why power cut is here? So there was some problem, and the entire place was blacked out. There was no power at all. And you know what Prabhupada was doing? He was peacefully sitting and chanting. Whereas the entire place was going into hustle and bustle, and people were not understanding what to do. They were stuck at various places. They were locked down at various places. Yes. But Prabhupada was sitting and chanting peacefully till next day morning. I think some 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, the light came, the power came back. Something like that is described. All these things is goody to hear. But now there's something terrible that is happening. What is that? August he started from there and he came to Boston in September. Now he has got a visa for how many months? 3 months. September, October, November has started. Now I can imagine his visa is going to get expired. Now desperately Prabhupada is writing letter to different people in India. And simultaneously he was searching for a building. Now he's a pauper, he does not have any single penny, he doesn't have money. Still is going out and searching for a place, for a temple. He would go and see the place. Okay, this place is okay, but then it's not big enough for the temple. He'll go, okay, this place is good. That place is best. And Prabhupada saw one place and he liked that place. And he started writing letters to his god brothers in India. Tirtha Maharaj, he wrote a letter to Tirtha Maharaj, who was the lead of Gaudiya Math in Mayapur. Then he wrote a letter to Sumati Murarji. He wrote letter to Indira Gandhi. He wrote letter to Padampat Singhania. He wrote letter to so many people. But from nowhere he got a positive reply. Everywhere, there was unfavorable reply that was coming. Then November passed, December came. Somehow, by the mercy of Krishna, he got his visa extended for another 3 months. Now he has just got another 3 months to go. And what he is supposed to do? Establish International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And what does he have now? 40 rupees in hand. That's it. And some that dollars which he got from selling that book. And he has got his books. Now the only way that he can do was sell his books, get some money, and at the same time find some people who can help him. Currently he has nothing. He has not achieved anything in 3 months till now. Okay. But there in his diary he says, I am successful. And you know what success Prabhupada is talking about? Prabhupada says, I was successful. Why? Because all the time I was remembering Krishna even in New York winters. I forgot to tell you this incident. So for the first time it snowed. There was snowfall. And the next day morning when Prabhupada opened, when he came out to see, Prabhupada was like, who has whitewashed the entire place? Indian for the first time is seeing the snow. And it was literally very cold. Prabhupada was there in his dhoti kurta and a jacket. So there, in that New York winters, November winters, Prabhupada is writing that my success was, I was remembering Krishna all the time. He writes, not even a single day went by when I didn't work on my Srimad Bhagavatam. Every single day he was doing that, every single day. And then he says that never a day came when I didn't offer food to Krishna, and never a day came when I didn't speak about Krishna. This is actually success. This is actually success in a devotee's life. This is what Prabhupada is saying. So in our life also, if you properly analyze, whatever we are achieving currently materially, that is not success. If we can remember Krishna all the time, if we can do devotional service in all the circumstances, be it good or be it bad, and if you're able to chant, if you're able to read Bhagavatam, come in association with devotees, then we can say it's success. Getting all these things is not success. Getting all this material stuff is not success. This is what Prabhupada is saying. This is what he's saying. Prabhupada was finding in Dr. Mishra's that studio, he was not allowed to speak, so he was not feeling good there because he was on a preaching mission. And he started feeling suffocating there because he wanted to preach and no one is allowing him to preach, no one is allowing him to speak. There in Butler, Pennsylvania, it was a different type of suffocation because just he was giving one-time session to everyone and he was not giving continuous sessions. And here there was a different type of suffocation. He was not allowed to speak only. So finally he decided that he'll move to his own place. He doesn't have money, by the way, let me tell you. So what he did was, he chose a room 2 floors down, the same building. So 501 he was staying, he shifted down 2 floors down to room number 307. And he started staying there. It is described that room was very, very small, no facilities at all, no kitchen, no bathroom. And the rent was $72. He had to pay $72 now, every single month. So what he would do is that he would go to Dr. Mishra's house for kitchen and for bathroom. For these two, he would go to Dr. Mishra's apartment. But now, till now, if you see, Dr. Mishra was taking care of all the funding for Prabhupada. Now Prabhupada was on his own. Now what Prabhupada was doing was, he was going around with Bhagavatam, keeping in different stalls, book stalls, in different places. And every single day he would go and check. He would go and check if the books have been sold or not. This is what he would be doing. Now you see his expenses have increased. He has to pay the rent. And then when it comes to physical comfort, that also is reduced. But one solace was there, that he was free to preach. This was there. And then he was going around and checking in different bookstalls if the books have been sold. And another solace to him was, he would go to those libraries where the books were kept, and he would go and take that book and in the library, and he would open that card, the library card, and would see how many people have read this book. And it would feel very nice if some people have read. You would feel, oh, okay, people have started reading my books. So in this particular room, the first few students were Dr. Mishra students. Those few students started coming to Prabhupada to hear him. And one of them, they gifted him a tape recorder, reel-to-reel tape. And in that, Prabhupada recorded some very solitary bhajans. He would play kartal, and then he would sing bhajans, and that was recorded in that. And for the first time, he recorded introduction to Gita Upanishad, that is introduction to Bhagavad Gita. He recorded that in the tape recorder. And he had got an instruction from his spiritual master, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, that even if there is no one, you speak to the walls, but you speak. So Prabhupada was follow these instructions. This is called Guru Nishtha. Can you see? At every place we are seeing how much Guru Nishtha Prabhupada has. Whatever his spiritual master has said, he wants to do that. This is how a person can progress in Bhakti. This is the key. This is the key. Having Guru Nishtha. Following exactly what the Guru is saying. Diksha Guru, Shiksha Guru. What they are saying. That's what is the key to progress on the path of Bhakti. And then Prabhupada started his Monday, Wednesday and Friday sessions. And the students started coming from Dr. Mishra's place only. And Prabhupada started speaking on these 3 days. They would come and sit. Now, it was not an easy task to give a class to these foreigners. It is described that the attention span of foreigners is very, very less. It was very difficult. When Prabhupada would speak, so the people who would be sitting, they were doing their own job. And Prabhupada would again and again say, pay attention to what I'm saying. I'm speaking something important. Listen to me carefully. Listen to me attentively. Prabhupada would beg to all of them. But they were least bothered because they were just guests. They were not disciples of Prabhupada. And once Prabhupada started speaking about Krishna, he started saying, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I'm sure you know about Krishna. And he saw a complete silence. And there was a complete question mark on the face of each and every person sitting there. Prabhupada asked another question. Have you seen Krishna's photo? There was a big question mark on everyone's face. And Prabhupada's volume of his voice reduced. And Prabhupada started thinking that these people don't know who Krishna is. Now can you imagine whom Prabhupada was preaching to? For us it's very easy. As Indians, very easy to talk about ISKCON. Sometimes people blaspheme ISKCON also. Yes, that ISKCON started in West and the only goal was to get money. And from India, a lot of money goes to West. And so many nonsense things people speak. Only people who are there in ISKCON and who read about Prabhupada and understand his character and understand what he went through, they will understand that all this is just rumor, all this is just stupidity and nothing else. Yes. Those people who speak ill about ISKCON, for sure, it's very easy to speak, but they don't know what the Acharya have gone through. And if the Acharya is going through so much of pain in the entire preaching, so the principles that he'll set in that organization will be very, very high level, very high standard. And in such an organization, stupid things cannot happen, what people talk about. Right? So in this way, we see that this person, Prabhupada, is so genuine that he's preaching to whom? To people who have not heard the name Krishna. And what is he going to speak about? Krishna consciousness. And what is he speaking about? Bhagavad Gita spoken by Krishna. My God. It is very difficult to comprehend also what preaching he might be doing. Like first day when you all came to the Bhagavad Gita class. So the speaker was confident that these people might have heard about Krishna. They know what is Bhagavad Gita. And in fact, it was seen that many people knew the shlokas. And it was very easy to connect with people. People knew what is Atma, what is Paramatma. But here people don't know who is Krishna. And to such audience, Prabhupada is going to preach. They started preaching. And they are not at all interested to hear, but they are still coming. There was some attraction to Prabhupada. Prabhupada was very attractive. So they were coming to hear. So this was happening in room number 307 in that particular building. But there was a different place, a restaurant called The Paradox on 64th East 7th Street. So currently what we were talking about was on 100 West 72nd Street. Now we're talking about another place which is on 64th East 7th Street. And this is on the east side, lower east side. So this was a restaurant specially meant for some spiritual discussions. That was a free place. Lot of tea was provided there. People would come drink tea, unlimited tea, and they would have some spiritual discussion, looks like. So there, the people who would come to from Dr. Mishra's place to Prabhupada, they would also come here also, into this place, the Paradox. And there, they started speaking about the Swami. They started talking about the sessions by Śrīla Prabhupada. There were two people especially, Harvey Cohen and Bill Epstein. So these two people were talking about Prabhupada. So Bill Epstein was worker at Paradox. So both of them, they started talking about Prabhupada, and everyone started to know, and it was a wildfire that was spread all around, saying a new Swamiji has come from East, and he is speaking about spiritual philosophy. And then few of them started going and attending sessions there. But then they started thinking, Swamiji comes to the lower east side. When he shifts to this place, many people here actually need him. And you know who those people were? They were the hippies, the drunkards, the woman monglers, the meat eaters, the ones who have left the house, yes, and the ones who are really crazy in their behavior due to taking drugs, and the ones who are called as bums, means the ones who are completely drunk and who are just lying here and there. Yes, this was the crowd. And Prabhupada decided when he was hearing from his students about this, Prabhupada was considering. But one day an incident happened where Prabhupada decided that he has to leave that place, room number 307. So Prabhupada had gone out to some place to distribute the books. So when he came back, already there was nothing with Prabhupada. But still a theft had happened in his room. So his only typewriter was stolen, and his only tape recorder in which the introduction to Bhagavad Gita and some other chapters were recorded, that was stolen. And Prabhupada became very much morose. The housekeeping staff there, the janitor, he actually told that, the theft has happened. Prabhupada could make out from his face, that person's face, that he's the thief. But he didn't have any proof to prove that. So he just, he decided that there's no point in living here. So I have to leave from here. So when he decided that, he has to leave from that particular place. So that time, there was some electrician there working in that building. He warned him. He told him that this place, where you're planning to shift, is a very, very dangerous place. Very dangerous place. And is the worst place in the entire country here. But still, Prabhupada had no option. So Prabhupada decided that he'll go there to that place. This place was called as the Bowery, the place of all hippies. Now, Harvey and Bill, these were the two people who were actually planning to shift Prabhupada to that place. So Harvey was going to shift to California. So Harvey told Prabhupada that you can shift to the loft in the Bowery where I was staying. And that particular place was shared by another person called David. Remember these names, you'll be needing these names to relate. So David was staying in that place, and Harvey said that Prabhupada, you can stay in my place, or no, they were calling him as Swamiji. Swamiji, you can stay in my place in this Bowery loft, and because I'll be shifting to California, I'll not be here. Now Prabhupada is going to shift to Bowery. Bowery is that place where all these people are there. They're all young, long hair, crazy, always on drugs. Most of them were nude. They were wearing half nude clothes, and some of them were full nude. Yes, no etiquettes at all. They had no sense of respect. And there the slogan was, don't believe a person who has crossed the age of 35. And what is the age of Prabhupada? 70. Now Prabhupada is going to a place where people have already decided not to believe in a person who has crossed 35. And here is a person who is double the age. And he is going to shift to that place. And there Prabhupada's actual preaching is going to start now. The preaching the preaching in the crowd of hippies. How Prabhupada started his preaching. What all things he did, and how he preached to these hippies, and how, I don't know if we'll be able to register ISKCON, but if possible, we'll try to register ISKCON also. How Prabhupada registered ISKCON. Yes. So stay tuned. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Jagat Guru Śrīla Prabhupāda ki.